We're back. Oh, okay. Well, shit. What's up, Lopes?
What's
Matt
going
Lopes.
on, man?
It feels good, man. We're just fresh off the plane, landed in Fort Lauderdale. Feels good to be home.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has been a minute. I'm excited about this one too, man, because
Go back.
Yeah, no, it's cool because I've talked about on the show from being back home, and this is literally I haven't been home since like 2017. I came with my mom, came down here.
Been
and
a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, man. But tell me a little bit about where we are. Tell me a little bit about what's going on right now.
So we're in Pembroke Pines. We're at the Grindhouse baseball facility. This is where I work. I'm a hitting instructor here. So if you don't know where Pembroke Pines is, we're about 15 miles west of Fort Lauderdale, I guess. About 15, 20 minutes west of Fort Lauderdale.
And what's the name of this place? Hitting Academy?
The Grindhouse.
Grindhouse. Okay.
Grindhouse.
And how long has this place been around for?
So this facility here, we actually just moved into 4 months ago. The Grindhouse, we were at a facility literally in this same complex right back here. That one opened up probably going on 4 years now. We've been in, this will be probably in between 3 and 4 years. The Grindhouse has been a thing. This facility
has been around for okay, cool. Yeah, this is fun to me too, man, because I've never talked about this on the show, but I used to play baseball. We used to play baseball together, man.
He did.
We went to high school together, man.
He wasn't the worst baseball player on the field.
Junior year, me and my boy Kyle. I'm not gonna put your last name out here, but we led the county in strikeouts junior year. But senior year, we came back balling. So yeah, no, it's fun for me, man, to be back in one of these spaces because it takes me back to being in like middle school. Probably before I even met you, I was like, when I first moved down here, I was in middle school and high school, or middle school mostly, doing travel ball. And like travel ball, it consists of. I mean, we'll get a little bit more footage of like the place when we get out of here to kind of give everybody a little better understanding about what's happening behind these walls. Yeah. But yeah, it takes me back to like, gives me memories, man. It makes me happy to be back in a space like this. I remember like coming here and this was like our days. You know?
Oh yeah. This was, I mean, all of it, dude. Going to school, going to Deerfield, having baseball practice.
It was everything, man.
Being with the baseball guys at lunch, like we had the wall, man.
The baseball wall,
dude.
Damn. Shout out the baseball. We had the baseball wall. We had the basketball wall. We had some other ones. Oh, man. Shout out that, man.
The Deerfield days.
But so for everybody watching, like I said, we know each other from high school, but all of us kind of went our separate ways. I went and played in Jersey for a little bit. You went to Delaware.
Wilmington University in Delaware.
Give me a little bit of rundown about.
So before we actually get into Wilmington, I got a little story about Jake at Felician and my experience. So this is I don't know if I've ever told you this either. So my senior year of high school, I'm uncommitted at the time. I don't really have any offers, which was, your senior year. A lot of guys are trying to commit like junior year or summer going into senior year. Like the goal is to kind of know where you're going, before you play that senior season, because senior season.
It really starts like junior year, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like you really should be knowing about like stuff.
Junior year is like kind of where you and nowadays, I mean, kids are committing in eighth, ninth grade. It's crazy. But so my senior year, I'm going into spring, which is kind of late at this point. I think I'm a pretty damn good baseball player at this point, and I'm running out of time, right?
This is in high school.
Yeah, this is at Deerfield. This is my senior year. So Jake's up at
my freshman year of college.
Jake's up at Felician, and Jake was my boy. We had a real good friendship, real good relationship, and I didn't really have a lot of people I know that were in college baseball. I didn't really have. You're probably one of the handful of guys who were out of school currently, and in the back of my mind, I kind of always thought that, like, hey, man, it's a D2 school. They're a winning program. Like, I think I could see myself going up there. Like, Jake's up there. That's a Florida kid. I kind of wanted to get away, too, from South Florida, which is something that a lot of Florida kids don't want to do. But from the get-go, I wanted to get away. So I kind of wanted to go to Felician. I didn't vocalize it much, but I kind of thought I had a good chance. And just in terms of like the talent level I was at, I thought it was a very realistic place for me to be at. So Alonzo, our coach that year, sets up a tryout, and with Felician, they come down here. He sets a tryout for me and Hafer. Remember Hafer, our first baseman.
Shout out Hafer.
So
out in North Carolina.
At the time, I didn't know this, but like they were real heavy on Hafer, and my coach Alonzo was like, Felician's coming down here. Like they want to look at you. Like, I think, they might offer you if you do well. So I do this workout with them and I'm balling. Like, when it was all said and done, I probably worked out for maybe 7-8 schools. This was by far my best workout.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm crushing the ball. Like, I feel great. This is a school I think that I might want to go to. Lighten it up, right? And Hafer, who was much bigger than me, like, this guy's twice my size, 6'4", big power bat. I'm hitting balls further than him that day. Like, I was really having like that good of a day. And I come over to the side of I finish my round, and I'm expecting them to go watch me play defense now. And Alonzo's like, hey, they want you to go play third. And that, for you guys who don't know, I was a catcher. That wasn't my position at all. And I look at Alonzo and I'm like, why would I go to third base? I'm a catcher. He's like, well, they already have catchers. Like, go to third.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like,
I'm trying to think of who our catchers are. I don't remember.
I'm like kind of like disrespected at the time. I'm like, I'm never going to play third base in college. Like, you're basically telling me then that there's no point in me doing this. So whenever I go to third, I do terrible because I'm not a third baseman. And they're like, I come back over the sideline and the coach is like, you don't really look that good at third. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not a third baseman. I'm a catcher. And they're like, yeah, we're not really interested. So from that point on, I was like, fuck Felician.
You can say, man, you can curse on it, bro. You can say whatever.
I was bitter. I was pissed. I thought that I did what I was supposed to do. So I end up going to the school, Wilmington University. They're in the same conference as Felician. So I now get to play against Felician for the rest of my college career, about 4 times a year, every single year. So
before you keep going, just talking to the mic a little bit for me.
So so I go, anyways, I'll finish it up with this. So like every year I made it a point to shove it up Felician's ass.
Yeah.
And while he was at Felician, I went and visited him one time, and that was my boy. While I was there, we went out to like a party or something.
Did we? Did I take you to a party?
Yeah. I was like, screw all these guys. I love Jake. Jake's my boy, but screw Felician. Screw everybody here.
I hated that school.
I don't like any of the dudes on this team, even though they're probably cool guys, probably good guys.
Yeah, there's a couple of cool guys on the team.
I was like, screw Felician. Every year, so I didn't hit that many home runs in college. I had 2 against Felician. I had like a game winner against Felician, and every freaking year I balled out. I was like, I forever hated Felician after that workout.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I have a relationship with their coach now, actually, and a couple
Which guy? Langen?
Yeah, Langen. So it's water under the bridge now. I'm an adult. We're those days are long gone of me being mad about it. But I wanted to go there, and I wanted to be teammates with Jake. And every year, dude, we'd suit up against Felician. I was like, time to shove it up their ass.
Yeah, man, it was weird for me. I mean, I had unfortunate luck when I went to Felician. I tore my labrum the week before I found out I was going. Got there, didn't really play as much as I wanted to, and Felician was iffy, man. I didn't really like Felician. I was only there to play baseball, so when I had the chance to get out, I got out. But talk to me a little bit about, before we get into like what you're doing now, talk to me a little bit about like going to college in Delaware and what it was like playing. Tell people, because I mean, I know about this as well. I mean, my first day when I landed in New Jersey, the next morning I had to be up at 4 a.m. for workouts, and it was like baseball in college is a job. It's really athlete student, and it's very much athlete student, not student athlete once you get to the college level, and it's super intense, man. So talk to me a little bit about like the process of going through that.
So first off, like I'm a Florida kid. I grew up in South Florida. In Delaware, for anyone who's ever been there, is a very small state. It's like one of the smallest states on the map. Just to put it in perspective, I think there's 1.8 million people in Broward County. That's where we live here in South Florida. There's 900,000 in the entire state of Delaware. So I just went from, living by the beach, like South Florida. All the memes are true. We're all crazy as shit down here. I went to a high school where all my boys are crazy, and I go up to Delaware, and it is different, to say the least.
Super docile.
Yeah, and my first year was tough, dude. Like you said, it's a full-time job. I got away with never going to class at Deerfield. I didn't have to really do my work as an athlete at Deerfield. We didn't have to do a whole lot to pass and to be successful. And it's unfortunate because it didn't set me up for success. I went to Delaware. I went to Wilmington. I failed my freshman year. It was not
You failed your freshman year?
Yeah, I failed, dude.
Man.
So it was embarrassing.
What's up? You can say what's up. What's up?
I failed too, bro.
Yeah?
Dude. I was not prepared.
See, I was the opposite, man. I was always very good about going. I always went to class. Hey, we lived with you. Oh, you lived with me.
Well,
I used to
his
live
mom
with...
worked at the school. That's why you.
No.
You had to go.
But what happened? Okay, wait. What happened when we lived together in Santa Fe? When I was going to this class, these guys came and lived with me up in Santa Fe College. I swear to God, I would go to class every day. I would be gone from 7 a.m. till 2 p.m. All classes all day.
Hey, man.
I graduated college with 3.4 GPA. These boys were all sleeping,
I
bro.
wish that's what I was doing. So I go up there freshman year. I feel like an outsider. Like I'm just out of my comfort zone. It's freaking cold. You know, it's not
way different.
The weather, the weather's not the same. It was a rude awakening. It was not. You think of college sports as being this like glamorous, like amazing thing, dude. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be the man. I'm gonna get girls. I'm gonna hit home runs.
Yeah.
Class is gonna be a breeze. It was at Deerfield. Like school's not gonna get any harder. So I go up there and I don't do good with my grades. So and shout out to my my coach Brian August for this. I have the best relationship with my head coach at Wilmington. So I fail my freshman year. He calls me up while I'm on winter break, and he chews me out. He's like killing me. He's like, you messed up. Like we don't play with grades. Like if you can't get your shit together, like you're gonna be gone. And for years, all you do is think about college baseball. Like that was the goal: play college baseball. And I finally get there, and I'm like about to fail out of college. And like my parents are like, I love my parents. They're so. I mean, like, my dad's a blue collar guy. My mom's so smart.
Shout out Mr. Lopes and Miss Lopes.
Yeah,
Both
man. No,
great
I got the best parents. I really do. And it was embarrassing. Like I go there and I'm about to screw it all up. So I had to take like 6 classes second semester. My coach made me. He was like, you either get straight A's pretty much across the board or you're out of here. So I get my shit together, and honestly, like Wilmington, from that point on, after that first year, I ended up being a 3-year starter. I had a great college baseball career. I have the best relationship with all my teammates, my coaches. Like it was the hands down the greatest experience of my life. I can't say enough good things. And I'm in an industry now where I get to now be around baseball again, and I get to get payback. All the lessons I learned, everything, the experience, my love for the game, and it's so much of what I do now, and how I get to influence young people, and how I get to just educate kids on baseball, on life, on the experience, the recruiting process, why you got to work hard, why it's important that you go to class, why it's important that you manage your time and you make good decisions. I've been on both sides, dude. I was the screw up. I was the guy that couldn't get his shit together, and I almost had the thing that I love taken away from me. And fortunately enough, I got it together, and I had a great experience at Wilmington. I go up there every 3 months for a wedding. I go up there for our alumni game. It's awesome. I can't say enough good things about the people there. That so genuine too. Like this is something I think people in South Florida don't really. I think it's just different down here. I don't think there's a lot of like family-oriented people in South Florida. I don't think a lot of my friends, a lot of people we grow up with, this is the melting pot for people all over the country, and you don't have people that celebrate holidays down here and celebrate family and get-togethers, and it's just different. So when I went up there, my parents are back home in South Florida. They came up when they could. I appreciated them coming up. But on holidays, I'm going to my teammate's house. When we had weekend games, we had this pavilion behind the outfield, and this was the coolest thing in the world. We would have weekend doubleheaders. So we got 2 games, 2 9-inning games. We're playing for 8 hours straight. You're exhausted after the game. And then up on this, we had this giant pavilion behind the outfield. We literally have a feast with all the parents. Every parent brought a whole, their whole meal. They did all this meal prep, and then it's just a celebration and a giant party after every single weekend game that we have. these parents and these like I literally felt like I was a part of so many families up there.
That's what I miss about it too, man. I mean, I miss us playing summer ball and traveling and going to all these tournaments, man, and just spending hotel weekends in hotels.
Man.
Your parents are driving you and shit. It's just, you know, man, it takes me back. But I mean, you talk about all these things that you've done, you know, when you finished your time at Wilmington, and that's cool. But I want to get touch on one thing, because I know I went through it personally. I think I went through it a little bit earlier than you, because like you said, you had a good 4 years. I kind of left Felician after the second year and went to Brooklyn College and kind of started doing this type of stuff. But I remember, man, being in college, and like, I mean, even in high school, you think that way too, but like, you have this state of mind that this is going to be what you're doing for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
And then when you got to, what happened, what was that feeling like when you got to the 4 years, when you finished your 4-year term, like you've been playing for 4 years and you're like, okay, well, what's next? I'm not necessarily getting the calls that I thought I was going to get, or, you know, how do you deal with that? Like
so yeah, that's a good question.
And it's a rough time. I know it is, because it's like you spend so much time and energy and your whole life doing this thing, and this is what you think you're going to do.
So when I went into school, you could not tell me that I wasn't going to play pro baseball. Like, that was not, that just wasn't I was blind to it. And honestly, in a good way. Like, I had that much confidence in my ability. That's how much I love baseball, and you know, that's how important it was to me. So I go up there and I have like 3 pretty significant injuries while I'm there, and it was never enough to like keep me off the field. I still was a full-time starter, a 3-year starter, so I had all the success, but like, I had knee surgery, I had shoulder surgery. I ended up getting like a paralyzed diaphragm and had a lung problem while I was there, like a freak accident.
Are you still only on one lung?
Yeah. So yeah, so if you guys hear me coughing right now, just like,
don't get worried.
I don't have the vid, but yeah, no, I still have it, and honestly, it's not a life-threatening thing. You know, while I was there at school, though, you know, I wasn't able to train the way I wanted to. I felt restricted at times, and it was unfortunate, because I thought I was good enough. I thought I looked at guys who were getting drafted, who were going up to the next level, and you know, I thought I was at that level. I thought I was just as good. But I get done, right? And this is funny about it all, though, too. So my like sophomore, junior year, I basically come to the conclusion that I'm probably not going to be healthy enough. I'm probably not going to get to like the physical, just like size, health, in the weight, like the weight room stuff, like the talent, the numbers, like that was there. Like, I performed, but to get drafted, it goes much more than that. Like, you got to be in great shape. You got to look like a team wants to invest in you. You got to look like you take great care of your body. You got to look like, you know, you're in the weight room and you're dieting and you're recovering, and you got to check off all the boxes. And I just wasn't doing that. You know, I was recovering from injuries. So I kind of came to this conclusion that I'm probably not going to play pro baseball. So what happened at that point was I no longer played for myself. Like, my whole life up until that point, it was always about me getting a scholarship and me playing pro baseball. Now I'm at a point where I don't have a foreseeable future in this sport. Like, I know that there's a day that is gonna come where baseball is done for me.
Make a decision,
sooner than later, right? I from that point on, like the last 2 years, year and a half, it was the only reason I did the running, the only reason I grinded out class and I did all the stuff that comes with being a student athlete was because I wanted to be a great teammate and I wanted to win. Like, I wanted to go to a college World Series. I wanted to be a contributor and play for, you know, the guys who I loved. I wanted to play for the coaches that I loved. And my senior year, we go to a World Series. Like, my senior year was like the most amazing experience ever. Like, we beat the #1 team in the nation.
Franklin Pierce.
I remember
Franklin Pierce. We faced Frank before it started to interrupt, but I remember we faced Franklin Pierce in, I want to say it was in like Jupiter or something, when we came down for Felician, and I remember every inning. I remember they had such a deep pitching roster. Every inning they switched pitchers on us,
and they probably all shoved,
and they all threw 90 plus, bro. It was just like
yeah. So just to put in perspective how good this team was, they were 46-2. My senior year. They're the #1 team in the whole nation. We go up to our regional playoff. We lose a game early. It was 2-game elimination. So we, in the semis, we play Franklin Pierce, and little side story, but I have a bad game that night. It was to put us in the losers bracket. So if we lose the next game, my season's over, my career's over, right?
Yeah.
And that night, I know that we got Franklin Pierce in the morning. I know that they're now 46-3. They actually had a loss as well in that tournament. So it's winner or go home the next morning. And then I'm like, I had a bad game. I'm kind of in tears in the back of the bus. Like, I'm freaking losing it. And I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, I was very confident in our team and my ability. But, like, they're 46-3. We're probably not going to beat them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Next day, I show up. I hit the reset, right? And we play this amazing game, and we beat them. And we go into the regional championship game. So my whole goal, my whole career, right, whole career of college baseball is to get to the World Series. My sophomore year, we lose we lose in the regional championship to Franklin Pierce. They go to the World Series. I'm a senior now. We just beat Franklin Pierce. We're in that championship game again now. We're one game away from the World Series. We get punched in the face in the first inning. We give up like 6 runs in the first. Yeah. And I'm like, this is a nightmare. We just beat the #1 team in the nation, and we're about to fucking lose to St. Thomas, who's a really good team. But like it was literally like a nightmare unfolding. And we literally had like 15 seniors on this team, and we just pulled it together, and we won in a shootout, and we got to go to the World Series. I got a ring for going. Like, we got to go to Cary, North Carolina. It was like we were celebrities. We played in the USA Baseball Complex. We got to have like the night game, and there was fireworks. We played in front of like 3,000 people. We had a bat boy. Like, it couldn't have. So back to your original question of like, you know, when it all ended, what was that like? If it didn't end the way it did, it probably would have had like a sour taste in my mouth. Yeah. But it literally, like, everything I wanted to happen happened. And I did it with the people that I loved. And it was like a storybook ending to it all. So, you know, I didn't get the chance to play pro baseball, but I got my ring. I got to go to a World Series. We did all these amazing things. And like, when I go up to those weddings and I see my boys, you know, we reminisce, and it's like it was yesterday. Yeah. We can't. It was so amazing. It was just the coolest experience. So when it was all said and done, like, I was able to hang up my cleats and say, you know what, like, I did what I wanted to do. I achieved a lot, and you know, I'm ready for this next chapter in my life.
Yeah. And did you ever go? I mean, I went away as soon as I graduated, and I really never came back. You know what I mean? How was it when you did finish and you came back to Deerfield? What was the trend? Because I know you probably went through like, what am I going to do now? You know, like what's walk me through a little bit of the limbo, and then we'll get into like what you're doing now.
Yeah. So it was like 2.5 years of just like not knowing, like not really no direction, like not really a path. I tried doing graphic design. I did like the t-shirt thing.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I actually I invested in it, and I thought I gave like a good effort. I had a good business plan, a good structure. I was basically doing like graphic design and then like custom screen printing. I had a close friend who was very successful, who was teaching me how to screen print and actually it wasn't no, it was Jesse Coven. Shout out Jesse Coven. But Ronnie's my boy too. Ronnie I'm cool with now, and I have a great relationship with now. But Jesse I grew up with, and Jesse wasn't I hadn't really known Ronnie yet. I ended up like I did stuff with Ronnie like after the fact, but Jesse was the one who was teaching me, and it was going well. And I just, you know, it's funny, man, like I was good at it, and I would do these graphic designs, and I was trying to design to like kind of like retro like sports logos, and it was cool, man. Like I was like making hats and t-shirts, and I was getting like real good feedback.
Wasn't it what was the name? What was
Crooked Culture?
Yes. Okay, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
So I went all in kind of on it.
I mean, bro, sorry to cut you off, but you should. Part of the reason why I started this podcast and talking to you now is the fact that you did something. You know what I mean? Like you finally got.
I took a risk. I tried.
And that's why I appreciate it, man. So it's like that's another reason why I got you on the show. Because for me, it's important for me to see people because I'm like very lazy, you know. Like I get.
You think you're lazy?
I think so, man. I think I am. I mean, but like I'm lazy, but it's constantly a kick in the ass to see people like you and see other people that I know in New York and people that are just constantly doing their own thing. So it's cool to see that you went through that limbo phase because I know I definitely went through that for more than 2 years, man. Like. Shit, I'm almost 30, you know, and I still feel like I'm still trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, it's funny because like even after I did that for like 2-3 years, and then I got into baseball, and we'll talk about that, but I can relate. Like I have my days where I want to like smack myself in the face because I'm seeing everything that I'm doing, and I think I'm doing pretty damn good. But even now, I have the path. Like I know what I want to do, and we still feel like that. Like it makes no sense. Like it's life, man. It's
exactly.
life.
It's just nothing's. Well, that's a good sign that it's a good sign that nothing is really good enough for you because it just means that you're constantly trying to progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're not necessarily looking to stay in the same position. And like I said, I find that super important, and that's why I highlight people like you for this show, because it's just inspiring to me, man. It keeps me on my toes, you know. And but so you go through the limbo phase. Were you you're hitting instructor, but were you working with? Did you start working with clients just like off and on, or were you working with local kids that? So I know your dad used to hook me up. Your dad used to give me batting lessons, man. So I know, you know what I mean. He used to hook me up.
Those are probably brutal. So I was doing the t-shirt thing, and I was like, dude, like just doing anything to make a buck for like 2-3 years, like living at home, not really having an income, like doing freaking like any job that came my way, like the grind, man, like the hustle, like just trying to stay afloat, trying to figure it all out. And I take this job at Deerfield, thinking like it's my high school, it's my alma mater, like this will be cool, like this will be something like I do on the side for fun. And it's funny because it was such a terrible experience and was so it was
too close to home.
It was so hard, but somehow divine intervention, I realized through the midst of it all that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like this is what I'm passionate about. Like literally, I think a month into me being a baseball coach, I was like I'm done with the t-shirt thing. I'm done with everything else. I'm going to do baseball. I'm going to be this. And I didn't know if I wanted to be like an instructor. I didn't know if I wanted to coach college, high school. I had no clue. I just knew that, like it's funny, but like the minute I got onto a baseball field, I was like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And I had people, my mom, my friends, like, oh, well, what's the plan? And I had none. Like I had no plan. I spent 2 years at Deerfield. I was the head coach at Deerfield, and
you were the head coach there.
Yeah,
I know he was coaching there. I didn't know you were the head coach.
Yeah, well, you want to know I was the head coach because nobody wants that job. So I got the job that nobody wanted. So they were like, "Wait, you're down to do this? Yeah. You're the guy. Like, you get to make all the decisions. Like you can be the guy. Yeah, well, this will be great. You're gonna love it.
Yeah,
you're the man. You get to make all the decisions." And it was, and I'll fill you in a little bit on why it was such a tough job, because Deerfield's not known for their baseball program. It's a football school.
Yep.
Basketball's been real good as of late, but the last time that we had a winning record was your junior year. Yeah, and I'm 100% positive on this.
Well, in my senior year, we were over 500, right?
No, you weren't.
No?
You were like probably like 9-11, or like
shit.
maybe 10-10 or something like that. But
yeah.
I'm 100% positive on this. The last time that we had a winning record at Deerfield was my sophomore year. So when I was in middle school, I was at Highlands, and Deerfield was like really good at the time, and I came over in my freshman year.
That's when they had like Hafer's brother and shit, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Mickey Story, Mike Fires.
Yeah.
I mean, those are MLB. Those are professional.
Yeah, they went to the
league.
Yeah.
So when I get there at Deerfield as a player, we were good my first 2 years, and then it just started going downhill. And like honestly, like the field, the maintenance, it hasn't. I mean, no one's taking care of that field in a decade now. And I go there and I invest. Dude, every dollar I got from my check went back into Ubering kids to the field, buying batting gloves for kids.
Ubering kids, damn.
Dude, I was paying for
coach.
No, when I say I went all in, and like I look back and I had a falling out with, certain people there, and it didn't end smoothly at all. It didn't end well, but I know that in the back of my mind, like I gave everything I had. I wanted to make it work. That was like I had so much pride in Deerfield. That was my alma mater. I wanted it to bring this program up, and I wanted it to be amazing. And it was such a hard job, and it didn't work. But everything after that, I went on. I coached like some travel teams. I went to another high school for a year, and then I found this job. Probably like my in between like third and fourth year as a coach, I started working here, and everything after Deerfield is a million times easier.
Yeah, I mean, it was Deerfield was literally the stepping stone just to get you out and to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's and that's another thing that I think people also need to realize. And freaking, it goes back to me saying I'm lazy. It's just like a lot of times I let my overthinking do all the action.
Yeah.
And there's no action. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
My overthinking.
No,
is
you
the
get
action.
overwhelmed, man.
And you just overwhelm yourself. And it's just better to just do it and see what comes with it and handle it there than sit back and anticipate all the things that you think are gonna happen, or things that how they may pan out, how they may not pan out. So I think it's just important that people hear that, that you have to do something in order to see what's right or what's wrong.
So I would say this too, and amidst all the job changes, I mean, I had a lot of like baseball gigs that didn't work out. I don't know if you remember this or even know that. You probably do know, but I went to China.
I remember that.
I went to China to coach. Didn't work out. I coached 3 or 4 travel teams. None of them lasted for more than a couple months. I went to 2 high schools. I did a ton of lessons, and during the whole thing, right, like the first 3 to 4 years, or even when I took the job here initially, like I wasn't very good at what I did, and I didn't retain clients. Like nothing was sticking, and the whole time,
all this shit to make you question what you're doing.
Yeah, like I got bills I got to pay. I got a parent that wants me to get the heck out of the house, and I started dating my girlfriend, and she's like, "You got to make money," and like, what? It was just super inconsistent, and I had all these jobs, and like the whole time, I knew 2 things to be like certain. Like I knew these were concrete things that I knew were 100% right. One, I got to get better at what I do. Like I am not probably very good now. The more you do something, like think about it, like common sense, like the more you do something, if you are engaged, if you're focused, if you want to learn, the more you do something, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
So even though I'm not that good now, I'm going to get better. I'm going to be good at this because I love to do it. I'm smart. And I care. I'm engaged in what I do, and I just genuinely care about getting guys better. And like competitively, like I was a great baseball player. I'm gonna be a great coach. Like I told myself, like early on, I wanted, I would have arguments with kids, and I couldn't get kids to play better, and all this bad stuff. But like I'm gonna figure this out. Like I just got to get better. I got to get better. Yeah. And then the other thing was like, I didn't have jobs that stuck. I didn't know if I wanted to be an instructor. I didn't know if I wanted to be a coach. I didn't know if I wanted to go to college, this, that. And, I love...
No coaches ever start off as coaches, right?
What do you mean?
Like, nobody jumps into the head coach position. They always start off as...
I guess they do.
Shout out Deerfield.
I was the only one. Yeah,
but you know what I mean. Like you had to build your way up. Like you
just
were
like anything else. Yeah,
you were the offensive coordinator for this team, and now all of a sudden you're the head coach because you've been offensive coordinator for so long that now.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. So, but this was the other thing. It was, and I had this teammate. I'll never forget this. I was on. I went up north and I was doing like a get together with my teammates, and one of my teammates, I love him to death. He didn't mean anything bad by it. He he was like, I'm worried about you. Like, how are you going to monetize this? Like, how are you going to make money? Like, you're making, like, I was telling him, like, I'm doing free lessons. I have this Instagram page I'm trying to build. Like, I'm just trying to learn right now. And he's like, yeah, but you got to make money. And like, dude, my dad, I love my dad to death, but like, he's like, you got to charge more. You got to get people to
parents.
You got to get people to pay you. And like, I just kept doing free stuff. Like if a kid was really good, I was going to work with him for free so I could learn from him. And I could market him. Like he's a good baseball player. If I'm the guy that works with him, other good baseball players are going to want to work with me.
Yeah.
And during all this, I'm going to get better, right?
The long game.
But I knew this to be true. This is that second thing. Like someone at some point is going to pay me my value. Like if I get good enough and I have value and I'm helping guys get better, like someone's going to recognize that because I did my research. Like I knew that there were baseball guys that made six figures. Like I'd be lying if I said like, I'm in it for the passion of the game. Like I could be good making 20 grand a year. Like hell no. Like I want to be successful. I want to make money. And I saw people that had a blueprint that were making six figures, that were making, like, I would hear stories of like this hitting guy, like he got this kid drafted, the kid signed for $1 million and gave him 20 grand. And I was like, I would love someone to hand me $20,000 in a day. Like, I would see like camps being run and people making like $2,000 in a day from a camp. And like, I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I can do this. I can make money. Like I don't need to now. I just got to get better and someone's going to recognize it and someone's going to pay me. And I don't know when, I don't need to know the blueprint. And I would tell everyone that like, I don't need to know. I believed it wholeheartedly. Like my dad's a super positive person and he instilled like confidence in me at a young age. And like, he's always, with my baseball career, with everything, like my parents always said, like, it's going to be all right. Like you'll figure it out. And like, even when I was in limbo, like God bless my mom, like I probably would have kicked me out of the house, but but she let me, she let me ride it out. And I didn't have, like, I would get excited about these jobs and I would come home and I'd be like, yeah, this is the one. Like, this is going to turn into something. This is going to be the one that changes it all for me. And it just wouldn't work out. And then eventually, 2 years I've been here now and it changed, I've had a great year. Like I've have a reputation now. I have done enough to help kids get better that I got a ton of hitters now. And,
Yeah, well, okay. So let's talk to me about this. Talk to me about what you're doing. Cause you're a hitting instructor and you're here at Grindhouse. So tell me how it came about meeting. What was the gentleman's name you told me? The guy calls you an influencer.
Richie Palmer is the owner of the facility. He's my boss. So Richie runs Elite Squad, which is a travel ball organization, and they're big. It's one of the biggest travel ball organizations in the country. They've been going on for probably about 12 years now, and that's where he built his brand. He built so this is a Grindhouse facility, but Elite Squad is the name of his travel organization. So like we have a high school baseball team here, a homeschool academy called Elite Squad Academy.
I see
So Richie, I mean, he's the OG in South Florida. Like he's the man. He has the Grindhouse facility. He has his Elite Squad travel teams. We have our high school academy that's run out of here. He does a lot, dude. He's got a lot going on. He's had a lot of success and
Play! You just walk, get to the line, pull a chain out, throw your in.
So yeah, talk to me about your like day to day. What's the day to day like as a hitting instructor here at?
Okay, so right now we got a lot going on, and it's all exciting stuff. So we have a high school academy that goes on in the morning here. So my day starts at 10 a.m. I come in here. We have about 45 guys on our academy baseball team, and these are kids that left their high schools. They do online schooling through the state, and they come in here and they train Monday through Thursday. It's a full team. We have probably like a 40 game schedule, which is like twice as many as your typical high school. So the reason we're a thing is because two things. We can provide from like the developmental side. We do lifting every day. We have a field. We have access to a field nearby where you do like defense, individualized, and team stuff. We do like speed training. We do arm care. We strengthen their arms, and then we hit every single day. So these,
Yeah. And what are the, like, what's like the age group that you're working with on a typical day-to-day basis?
So with our academy team, it's mainly high school, but we have a couple like 7th to 8th graders up to seniors, and then we have like a couple post grads. So the academy team is pretty much a high school baseball team.
Okay.
And then come afternoon time is my program. So we have a youth program and a high school like / college program. So my youth kids are anywhere from like 9, 10 to 13, 14. And then high school, college, pro. I mean,
what's it like when you get that kid in the cage that you know is like gonna be your guy, gonna be your project? When you get that guy that just like swings the bat, and you're like, okay, like this.
So a project is the opposite. A project
you gotta work on. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying like a dude, like
the dude, your guy.
So it's funny. For a while I didn't really have many of those. I didn't really have for a while. They were not very good. But I've been fortunate enough the past like 6 months to a year. I have some really good baseball players. I have three of the best hitters in the state of Florida for the 2021 class.
Give them a shout out, man.
Alex Uloa, Renee Lastris, and Gavin Conocello.
All right, you heard it first here.
Hey, watch the draft. Watch the MLB draft.
All right.
2021. They'll be there.
All 15 hours of it. This thing's probably so long.
No, they are. But yeah, I got 3 high school kids that'll probably get their names called this upcoming draft. I got some college guys. I mean, I got guys at big time D1 schools.
I was about to say, what are some of the schools that you kind of were building relationships with?
In terms of the coaches, not really a lot. I have some. I got relationships with 10, maybe 5 to 10 colleges, like on a personal level. But in terms of like kids that are at schools, I mean, I've worked with hitters at every big D1 school in Florida and other ones throughout the country. My boss is kind of the guy, the dude that has all the hookups. So like if I'm working with a guy, he'll be either on our summer teams or in the cage with me. And like if he's good enough with social media, honestly, like I probably have a ton of D1 coaches that know who I am because they've been drawn to my page and they've seen hitters there, but we just don't have that personal relationship. But with social media, man, if you're good, if you're like, there's no hidden talent anymore. Like
these
kids get found.
And that's crazy that you were talking to me about kids that are like committing in 8th and 9th grade now. That's insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
that's insane.
I mean, so
like how does that commitment work for an 8th grader?
I mean, it's verbal.
It's just it's just acknowledging.
He can literally go to another school at any time, or he can cut ties with that school and commit somewhere else, and the school can too. And honestly, it's a messed up business. Like I had a senior this last year who was told he was committed to a D1 school for like 3 years, and he was told like a month before he was supposed to report, or like 2 months before, that like, hey, we're not gonna give you we're cutting your scholarship. Like he was coming off an injury, and it's a business. Like I get it.
It is so. That's okay. Keep going.
It's lousy, but like it's cutthroat. At the end of the day, I'll say this for like any high school kid who's going through the recruitment process, like you got to do what's best for you, because those schools will get you like a dollar sign, and the minute you show anything, whether it's grades or bad character or an injury, like they're not going to hold their end up of the bargain at all.
Now, as a coach, I want to ask you, have you run into this lately? Like I talk to I sometimes, like for my nephew, I kind of get on my sister, not my sister, but my mom, about how, because I only grew up with my mom. I didn't have a dad around to like bring me around to do all the sports stuff. So it was my mom was trying to learn how to do all that stuff, and a lot of times like, tell me about like the parent issue. You know how like parents like play their kids against their coach, like, oh, they only want to play favorites. You're not. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about that and the importance of like the parent really relaying to their kid that is really dependent on them. You got to put in the work. Like,
okay. Oh, so
talk to me about like the annoying parents.
Dude. Oh yeah. There's a whole group of them. It's a thing, man. Like there's a lot of parents. I'd say there's a lot of parents who want it more than their kid.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate because they force them to train. They force them to play on this team. And for like, I have parents that run Twitter accounts that are like literally run their recruiting for their kid.
Yeah.
And like a kid will get done with a game and the parent will go on Twitter and be like, you went I want you to type out, you went 4 for 4 and put, and the team gave a great effort, like tough loss. We'll be back tomorrow. And it's like a script, like literally it's scripted. And first off, college coaches aren't dumb. They know that if a parent is, too involved, like it's a thing that, like if a kid can get red flagged by having a bad parent. Like if you're a parent and you're going through the recruiting process with your kid, for one, he has to want it more than you. College baseball is so hard that if he's not dedicated, if he doesn't love it, it's not going to work. Even if he's talented. Like I have kids that go to D1 schools and they're great baseball players and they get there and the minute they face a little adversity, you can tell that they didn't really want it. Like they quit or they're just not into it. And first of all, you're not helping your kid by doing everything for him. Your kid's not accountable. He's not creating a work ethic. Like my boss runs these travel teams. Like he'll put out, we'll have like our top team for every age group. We'll have our top team. Yep. And then we got like our B squad and C squad. We'll have a kid that gets put on like the B squad. And, mom and dad wanted him. Mom and dad wanted him little Jimmy to be on the top team. And they will make accusations like, oh, is it money? Did other parents pay more? Did something happen? Did kids show up late? Or like, why didn't he get put on the top team?
He's just not
because
he's not the better player.
Good enough. Yeah. And instead of teaching your kid a lesson and saying, hey, you didn't make the top team, but guess what? You're 15 or 16 years old. Go work hard and earn it and make it next year.
And that's why I brought it up because, like I said, I grew up with my mom and she didn't necessarily know how to kind of instill that in me. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of times me fighting her like, no, like I'm just not working hard enough. Or like, because I remember like when I went from junior year, like how we were joking about before about leading county in strikeouts, like I went super hard that summer and super hard in that fall. Like I did so much training.
Yeah, I remember. And you had a good senior year,
I had a great senior year. And it was just like, I think back to that all the time. It was just like, I wish I would have kicked myself in the ass a little bit earlier to realize that.
Yeah,
so,
I saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah. So I think it's important that we get that out. Like that, parents can play a major role in your child not getting selected.
Yeah, I mean, on the just like being too involved and trying to do too much and just kind of being like over the top, but then also too like on the parenting side, like not teaching your kid like life lessons. Like you're gonna face adversity. If you're good at anything in life, it's hard. Things are hard. Like the minute you don't make the starting lineup, the minute you get cut from a travel team, or the minute the scholarship offers don't come, don't go right to, oh, it's not your fault at first. No, like maybe it is your fault. maybe you worked hard, or maybe you're doing things well, but like we got to take it up a notch. Like you got to work harder. Like my dad, and my dad, like my dad is brutally honest. He's very positive person and he's very, motivational, and he's a great guy and a fun guy to be around. I love him to death, but like he didn't like sugarcoat shit with me. Like when I was up at college.
I wish I had that.
When I was up at school, like, I thought I was doing a lot in terms of like the weight room and stretching, and he would get on me and be like, dude, you're not doing enough to play pro baseball. Like you're going to be a good college baseball player, but you're not going to play pro baseball unless you change your ways. And I got injured. Why? Because I didn't stretch. Why? Because I didn't diet and I didn't hydrate well and I didn't take care of my body. And then why did I not play pro baseball? Well, because I was always recovering and I wasn't healthy. And like everything he said was straightforward. And like he, always told it to me straight up. This is how it is. And that's why I think, now that I'm a coach and like there's a lot of people in this industry, coaches, parents that love storytelling. They love, it's a hype, you know, they hype up their kid. My kid's the greatest, this and that. You know, my boss, I love when we're talking about a kid and he just gives you the most like honest, real answer. Like, to whether he's talking to a parent, whether he's talking to us, whether he's talking to the kid, like, this is why you're not getting a scholarship. You're 5'9" or 5'8", and colleges don't like that. And like, yeah, that sucks to hear that. Like, that's out of your control because you're too short and you're not projectable. But he's gonna say, hey, well, you know, you can still do it. You got to get faster though. Like, you're just as good as the kid who's 6'1", but you're 5'8", and it doesn't look as projectable. So you either work harder than that kid and earn it, or you're not going to go to this school, or like you don't throw hard enough. You know, you're not good enough hitting. You batted 250 last year. Like, he's straightforward. You know, and same thing. He's always transparent with us at work, with his players, with like, this is where, you know, this is the goal for us. This is what we need to do on a regular basis. You know, we have meetings. He talks to me on a regular basis about growing the business, getting better with our academy team, he taught me one really cool lesson too, that really helped me with like my, you know, building our program and my hitting lessons. He's basically said, like, the information's great. You can be smart. You can know all this stuff about hitting. But if a kid doesn't like to be around you, if a kid doesn't genuinely like you as a person and think you're cool and have a good relationship with you, he's not going to want to train with you. Yeah. And like, the whole time, everything I had heard, like prior to that, I thought like, I got to be the smartest guy. I got to be the best hitting coach. And now this was like something that was like completely different. And I'd say from that moment on, I kind of realized like I need to invest more into the relationship side of it. Yeah. Not just me getting smarter at what I do, but invest in the relationships, definitely. And it works. You know, God bless him, and you know, it's everything that has happened in the last 6 months. We're slammed right now. I mean, I got hitters nonstop. I want to
before we get out of here, I do want to talk about the exciting news you told us in the group chat the other day. The man, my guy Manny Ramirez, baby. What's up with this? What's up with this Manny Ramirez thing, man?
Subject.
Oh no.
So no. So it's gonna happen. It just hasn't happened yet. So all right. So Manny, for those who don't know, Manny Ramirez,
legend.
Yeah, legend. Boston Red Sox. I mean, he was World Series MVP, so he's pretty big time. 550 home runs, but who looked it up? Not me. So he hit a lot of bombs, and he was, you know, a superstar. I work with his kid, actually. I train his kid a little bit, couple like here and there, for a few months now. And he was out in Australia, still playing. He's 47, and he's
still playing.
Yeah, he played pro ball in Australia. He just got back like a week ago, and so what Jake is talking about is a week back, he randomly showed up at the facility and literally came in, and it was so funny. I'm in a meeting in this room with a client. I did an assessment. He's in the other room talking to my partner for like 10 minutes. They're talking, and Mike is like blowing up. My partner's blowing up my phone. He's like, dude, finish up with the assessment. Like, Manny's here. Manny wants to talk to you. Like, I have like 8 text messages. He's like, dude, he's not. He has to go. He has to go. You gotta come out here. So I don't see any of them. I walk in the next room thinking whatever, and Manny Ramirez is right there, and I'm like, "What's up, dude? What's going on?" Holy shit. He pulls out his phone, and it's a video of him just hitting bombs in pro, like in a Red Sox uniform, hitting bombs, and he's like, look, I want to do this again. I don't really do this anymore. He's like, can you help me hit like this again? And I'm like cracking up, and I'm like, you need to teach me how to hit bombs. You want me to teach you how to? I'm like, you want to me to teach you how to hit bombs? So, long story short, he said he wants to work with me, and he actually had an oblique injury. That's why he came back from Australia. So he got injured. He ended up like getting released from the Australian League. So we were supposed to train this week Monday, and he canceled on me. He said he needs like another week or two to recover.
Hey, no, it's all good. He's getting old, man. He's an old dude.
It was heartbreaking, but Manny, don't leave me hanging, man. You better show up. All right, I'm here. All right, I'm ready when you are. But
Manny, I might fly down to meet you.
I've talked to him. He actually came in like a few days ago again, and we talked. And super humble dude, really nice guy. You know, his kid is a great
How old
baseball.
is his kid?
17.
Okay.
Real good baseball player, real humble kid. I love them. No, like I've met them a few times, and good people, and you know, it's pretty cool. It's a blessing. You know, that's a guy I looked up to and I admired as a baseball player, and you know, hopefully we get to get in the cage in the next week or two and get after it. You know, it was surreal. Even if it never happens, like he came in here and
asked you if you could teach him how to hit.
He literally pulled up his phone and like we talked about his swing for like 10 minutes. Like he was asking my opinion on training, on how to hit, and the conversations are always the coolest for me. Like when we're in the cage and like something organic happens and like we're just like locked in and we're talking baseball and we're talking hitting and like you have this like crazy conversation and it'll just like take its course, and like that's kind of how it was. And we just started talking hitting and started talking baseball. So it was cool, man. It was something, you know, tell my kids one day that, you know, Manny, when I was a nobody, when I was, you know, just starting
man.
Manny came in and we shot the shit.
And this is just the beginning, man. It's just the beginning.
A lot of exciting stuff going on for sure.
Tell me, before we wrap up, tell me what's next for you, man. And tell me what's next for you. Like, what's the next goal? And if people do, I'm gonna have your social media and stuff all in the bio and everything. But if people want to get a hold of you, contact you,
so
give me all that.
Matt on Instagram is really like my only form of social media that I use. But it's Matt Lopes Baseball, MattLopes, Lopes, not Lopez. Baseball, the Lopez, always Matt Lopez. But it's Matt Lopes Baseball, and you know, I have the Instagram account. I'm pretty. Are
you running that by yourself, or do you have somebody else helping you?
No, it's all me, man.
That's impressive, man. Because I'm like, God damn, bro, I can't even. He's posting like every 20 minutes. I'm like. I just see a lot of videos. I'm not saying
I do. I'm very active on it, and it's cool, man. It's I've been able to like monetize it somewhat, and it's brought me a lot of attention for the facility, for everything, man. Like social media is a great. I always like joke around, but like if you can find a following and provide value, like you can sell anything you want on there. Like
you can.
And I've spent probably like 2-3 years like really, really building that page, and I'm about to have like 10,000 followers, which people have like 1 million or like 500,000.
Hey man, we just got 100 on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we gotta start somewhere, baby.
I literally.
What did you say? You got 10 right now?
Yeah, I'm about to have 10.
Big number.
Yeah, no, I feel like it is. I work, dude. I work.
Bro, I feel like when you do it for your set, when it's your shit, like even 100 followers to me, like on my page is like I got 100 followers from doing this podcast.
Dude,
What?
Like, and I didn't pay for followers. Like, I literally like all I did was just put out content.
Yeah,
like,
that's really what it is. That's really
I read Gary Vee's book, like Crushing It, and like he like talks about just like force feeding, force feeding, and like sometimes I'm like, dude, like this is too much. But then, you know, it's gotten to the point where I have so many guys, I have so many hitters that I can be different, and I can post all these different kids, and dude, it helps them get recruited. Like they love it, man. Like they love and
now that you've started it, you can't go back now. You have to keep going.
I'm all in on it, but it's cool, man. The page, you know, it gets talked about. Like my boss calls me an influencer. It's funny, but the players like they'll crush a baseball and they'll be like, yo, that's going on the page, right? Like that better be on Matt Lowe's Baseball later tonight. And I'm like, I got you, but you got to do it again if you really want it on there. You got to be better.
Yeah, man. Hey, this is awesome, bro. I appreciate you chatting with me, man. This is super cool. We're gonna wrap it up, but shit, man. I want to take a round of BP, man. I want to take a round of BP for. It's for live content. It's for content for the page. You know what I'm saying?
We'll get it real quick. We'll get it.
You guys got any lefty tees?
Lefty tees.
I'm gonna troll all the guys in there. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna go in there and be like, you guys got any lefty tees, lefty bats?
No feel.
Yo, Lopes. I appreciate you, man.
It was a pleasure. This was cool.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Thank you for coming in. And it's a wrap.
Oh, man.
Wait, stay right there and do that handshake again so I can push off that. Handshake. Nah, just like you're recreating that.
Oh, yeah. We're recreating a moment.
Yeah.
Tell me when to go.